everybody. This is Eliz-sha Keating from wisdomseekers.net, and I'm here not for an interactive as I usually do. I'm here to see if I can help anybody to deal with the emotional ups and downs that we're going through for this at this time in the world situation. So hi, Angel Wings. And as I say, I'm not here to do a Q&A about whatever on your mind. I'm simply here to talk about if there's anything that I can oh, there you go. So here I am. I'm here to see if there's any questions I can answer for you to help alleviate some of your fears or stresses about the situation where the world is presently living through. I have done a little bit of research. I'm fairly knowledgeable about the situation, but more so I'm here to talk about the spiritual aspects of what's happening. And that's what I will be answering. I know I've had people message me and ask me if they were going to survive this situation, and I thought that was a little sad that people are living in that kind of fear, and because people are living in that kind of fear, that's why I'm here to give ideas, to give hope. And I do, as I say, I have done a bit of research. So if you have questions along that line, I'm more than willing to answer. I will not be answering general psychic questions about your boyfriend and things like that.
Or messages from guides. We're just talking about...
Well, with the messages from guides are related to survival, I will answer those.
Okay, well, Miriam M. asks any messages that my guides want me to know.
But it will only be about what we're talking about. So if you would like to specify a little closer what you're asking from your guides, then I'm more than willing to do that. But like I say, I have done a lot of research, and people are afraid, and that's part of the design is that we are afraid. And one of the reasons we are afraid, and I'm taking this from another spiritual viewpoint, it's because it reminds us very much of Atlantis. And many people who are spiritual guides and are spiritual workers or light workers and things like that have been in Atlantis, and we remember some more clearly than others. But even if it's just subconsciously, we remember how devastating it was. And I remember basically a couple of years back writing short stories about Atlantis and being in tears the whole time I was writing it because it was so devastating. And those are the memories that are coming up now. And that is why, as a general reaction, the world is reacting poorly. Gone into survival mode because we remember the pain, we remember the atrocities. And there were a lot of atrocities. So is there any questions yet, Elle? One of my stories, until Elle finds one, is I remember, and back then the horses, and they weren't really horses, but they were similar to horses. They were more sentient than the ones we have now, mostly because they were genetically made to be intelligent. And I remember we were in this in this area, and we were surrounded by fog. And the fog was the kind that when it touched you, it would eat your bones, eat you down to the bones. And it was a very painful death. And it was very interesting. My mother actually had dreams about this same fog when she was a child. But I remember seeing this, and I knew, and I was one of the people who was in charge of whomever. And there was only so many people I could save, and I couldn't save the horses. And I remember the horses screaming in fear and pain because they knew what was coming, and they were so angry that they were being left behind. And I remember the scream of the earth as the water rose over, because the earth does make a screaming sound when it has the buckles and when it buckles and shakes. So I mean, there's a lot. So if I remember those, there's a lot of you out there who have the same kind of memories, and how do we deal with that? How do we deal with those memories? Well, first of all, we realize they are memories, and they're not. We don't have to bring them forward into the present. It's once you own the energy or acknowledge it, you can become very aware of how you're reacting, and take responsibility for it, and say, no, I've done that before. I know how to react. I know how to deal with this. I know how to ground, and go forward from there. And even now, when I think of the Lantean memories, it is so intense. I do literally want to cry. Anything yet?
Mary asks, is the White House telling the truth to the country about the consequences of this virus?
Well, okay, this gets into conspiracy theories, and I am a conspiracy theorist. So my answers are going to be along the lines of conspiracy theory. I try to keep that away from my spiritual practice, because it's not necessarily the same. But my belief is, part of it is, well, first of all, there's suggesting that we do social distancing. And the people they want to social distance are the people who are 60 years old and up. Who are the ones most likely to get sick are the 65 years old and older. So you're social distancing the very people who are in need of the support more than anything. And I agree with social distancing, but I'd like to call it something else. Why not call it, I had a really good name for it, but it's vanished. But teach the people who don't understand about...
Like personal space?
No, because it's 10 feet. And what I'm talking about is teach them how to use cell phones. Teach them how to use Skype. Teach them how to use Messenger. I'm totally happy to meet everybody online, but then I'm kind of a recluse. Because I am an empath, I prefer not to meet people in the physical as much as possible. There's a few people that I don't mind, but I live with them. But
which means she has no choice.
I have no choice, but I do love them. So there are ways of not isolating people, because that's what social distancing is all about, but supporting people from a different way, from a different avenue. And you're asking if the White House is telling us the truth. They're telling you a part of the truth, but have you ever known the government to tell you a full truth, honestly? And I'm talking because most of the government is run by shadow governments, not by those who are necessarily in power. For instance, the President of the United States, though he is the face of the United States, is like on the there are 30 there I think there's like 33 levels above him on the need to know spectrum, and that's a heck of a huge jump, right? 33 levels. So even though he's the face of the government, he's not really.
Brains.
No, we're not going to go there. It's really not the one who makes the decisions. I think this particular guy would like to think he is, and when he first went in, he tried to. And some of his dealings were very, very good, and then some of the other things he did were really dumb. So but we won't get into that. And stop and think, why is this virus attacking only the old? Because that is one of the things that the shadow government has in mind is he wants to get rid of people 65 years up and over. They don't want to pay. They want to keep all the money that you've made for retirement. They want people 65 years up and older to not be there. There's quite a bit of evidence that this is a man-made virus. And on the bright side, there's a place over in Europe that figures they have not a cure but a prevention for it.
Actually, Lily Dulo says something along those lines. In Albania, we are in total isolation. I can go out and ride my bike. There is a pill in Holland which can help neutralize, but is not delivered yet.
Yeah, I think that's it. There's a couple of universities. They haven't been approved yet, of course.
Fuzzy Kiwi asks, what is the best way to stay level-headed when dealing with stress from work and keeping up with the demands due to COVID?
And that's where I keep nagging people to stay grounded. When you stay grounded, all these, because I am a empath, I know what you're going through. I can feel it. I have to ground myself constantly. I have to pull myself back from the edge of feeling hopeless and not capable of. There's no way. And I'm over 65. I'm one of the people that they're trying to diminish in the world. But what do you do is you stay grounded. You stay grounded and know that you're doing the best you can. So again, the old saw, wash your hands for 20 seconds using soap. Antibacterial, it's not going to help because the virus. Make your own. And alcohol will kill it very easily. So wipe all the surfaces. Phones are very important.
Especially
Computers.
If you have the habit of using it while going to the washroom.
Or
phones.
Just out and about even.
Well, yeah, no, but phones are genuinely
filthy.
Because we take them and read books while we're on the toilet, or share memes.
Yeah,
they're one of the most dirty things that we have.
Okay, And one of the ways to stay grounded is to talk to people and look at the reactions. I mean, why do we empty why do we empty
The toilet paper?
the toilet paper? Why do we empty the all the food off in the stores? A friend's down in California. She tried for 5 hours to get food from Whole Foods delivered because there were no food in the supermarkets close by. By the time she got through, she had $45 out of the $100 she ordered, and somebody put in icy pops. Okay, she doesn't eat icy pops, and so she had to start all over again. But look at that and realize how irrational that behavior is, and think, is that me? I wouldn't do that. And so that will help you stay more balanced, stay grounded, knowing that you know that it's a good thing, it's a positive thing, that what we're going through is going to change the shape of the world in front of us. Where, for instance, one small thing that's going to happen is we'll probably never shake hands again, very rarely. Our personal distance is going to move out as a like the Germans have a spatial distance of about 4 feet or 3 feet. Canadians are a little smaller. Americans, I think it depends on what state they're in. But we're going to have a larger social distance, which means people are not going to come as close to us as they used to. These are tiny things. But there's also a lot of things, and this is what you're asking. One of the things you're asking is the government telling us the truth. Well, I think there's also other things involved besides eliminating the older generation, which also, by the way, eliminates a lot of knowledge. So you bring you get rid of people like me, who teach people how to be spiritual and psychic and intuitive. You're going to lose a little bit of that because it takes longer for you to learn that on your own. We're going to have a situation that, and people probably, a lot of people know the movie Logan's Run. We're going to be put into a situation like Logan's Run. So what age will the government decide to cut off that you're no longer viable and no longer worthwhile? Okay. Some of the, and I do read conspiracy theories, some of the things that they're hoping to, that I understand that they're hoping to do is change the monetary system so it's specifically online. And because there's a great deal of fear about our health, they're going to use that to chip people so that they can put their health into your hand and go anywhere and they can read your files. While they're doing that, they'll put all your banking online because it's all going to be in the internet. It's all going to be out there rather than in our hands. And what does that do? Well, they'll know exactly how much money you have at any given time, know exactly what your health is at any given time, and if your health, and it just takes away our personal power. And what do? We just have to say no. We, the people, we're very powerful. We think the government has all the power, but we do. We're the ones with power. And if we say no, and that's all you need to say is no, then we gain our power. We take back our power. And so bottom line is shadow government, which is running the majority of the world. And there are two shadow governments at this moment. There's one called BRICS, and then there's Illuminati, or whatever you want to call them. They all have different names, the white hats, the black hats, etc., etc. I'm not sure one is better than the other, but they're fighting and warring against each other, trying to win. And that's one of the things that's happening in the States with the present government is the white hats, and the ones that are ousted are the black hats. And as I say, one does not appear to be better than the other at this moment. So we, the people, need to say no. We need to say this is enough. And one of the things I have been doing, and anybody who has a slight imagination can do this, is go into the energy and imagine that virus becoming neutralized, becoming ineffectual. And that is a really powerful, I'm doing something. I'm taking a stand. I'm not waiting for somebody else to do it for me. I'm not waiting for the government to do it for me. I'm taking a stand.
There was a meme that I saw floating around Facebook, and it's how everyone is scared if they had the chance to try time travel to the future, to the past, how everyone is scared of changing their future. But nobody has the same idea to change the present for changing their future.
And that's it. It's time for us to take control. On my Facebook page, Wisdom Seekers Facebook page, there I have Jennifer Hoffman has a short video up on exactly what we're talking about. And one of the things she says, and I totally agree, we haven't gone through all this crap and corruption for years as trying to help the world move on to a better place and better space for us to lose. So we're not likely going to lose. But if we allow the fear to take over, then we will not be the ones. We will not be the ones that are doing. We won't be winning. Let's put it that way. So the more energy we put into being positive and loving is the answer. It is the only answer. Loving your neighbors, loving each other. There's a lot of people that are happening right now with the young people, not all young people, obviously, who are going around saying, what they say?
It's the boomer killer.
It's the baby boomer killer. And they think it's hilarious. But that's Logan's Run, right? They're setting up a scenario for Logan's Run. And they have no idea. They think, obviously they think they know everything, and they're not worried because the chances are they're not going to get sick and die. But at the same time, that's not a spiritual reaction. So they are learning. They're learning the hard way, and they will learn the hard way how to be loving and caring. And the more you help your neighbors, and that doesn't mean you have to go in and do the social distancing, but a smile will help. A friendly gesture will help. Everything we do, and we do it from the heart, is going to make this an easier way of dealing with it. So we do it through Skype. So we do it through Messenger. Doesn't matter. As long as we reach out and we give and support people, and that is the trick. We need to support and we need to send love. There's two things in the universe. One is love, and one is fear, and one is an illusion. It's one of my favorite sayings. So are we going to fall into fear? Or are we going to fall into love? Let's fall into love, because that is the only way we have of being the ones in control. We are, that is the way we are being self-empowered. And that is the trick. I mean, let's make this backfire for all the powers that think they are in control. Let's be the ones that make it backfire by loving ourselves. And that's another of my mantras, self-love. And if you can't self-love, well, then start by forgiving yourself for whatever imagined thing you did. And just one of the things that always used to help me was whatever we've done in life, somewhere along the line, it's been perfectly okay, and it's been a normal part of society. Whether, for instance, the pharaohs, they always bred. They would only marry brothers or sisters because they wanted to keep the line pure. It was a normal part of life. Nowadays, that's called incest, and it's not a normal part of life. It's disgusting. It's this, it's that. But for the pharaohs, it was normal.
Even for the Hawaiian royalty, they would inbreed. The stronger the relationship, so sister, brother, mother, father, etc., the stronger the mana energy of their bloodline.
And so what we consider not good, not wonderful, it was someplace it was normal. So there's nothing that cannot be self-forgiven. Well, if you're a mass murderer and you do it because you enjoy it, that's slightly different. But that's a mental illness. That's not a choice.
Just real quick, we are not doing, this is not an interactive.
No,
we will not be answering personal questions
unless they have to do with
dealing with the COVID.
Yeah, and if you have fears about the COVID that are personal, yes, I will answer those to the best of my knowledge. And having said that, I am not given people's deaths. So I can tell you if you're going to live, but I'm not given deaths. And having said that, I'm pretty damn certain that the 99% of you are going to survive. The stats that I understand are 81% who get this, it's mild. 14% who get this, it's a little bit rougher. 5% who get it, it's bad. Of that 5%, people get really, really sick. And of that 5% of 5%, 2.1 or 2.5, and I can't remember exactly, they die. So the chances of you dying are very slim, unless you're old like me. And then think about it. I talk to the people who've passed over all the time, and the ones that have not gone in fear, they love it over there. It's wonderful. They always happy and excited, and they want to tell everybody that life is continuous. And because life is continuous, there is no need to be afraid. I mean, people with young children, of course you're going to not want to leave your children alone. And the chances are, if you've got young children, you're not going to leave your children alone.
CF asks, the virus in our country is on 61. Do you think this is true?
I'd say that again.
Virus in our country is on 61. Do you think this is true?
I don't know what that means. I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean by on 61. I do know there's supposed to be 2 strains. One is a little more rough than the other. And I don't know. I don't know what you mean.
I'm wondering if they're talking about the age.
Oh, could be.
It's
I mean,
attacking
some people say
people.
60, some people say 65.
Because Lily adds in Italy, people who have died are between 81 and 83 years and in bad health conditions. Only 10% of those who get infected die.
Yeah, and I think the ones in Italy have got the stronger virus.
In South Africa, CF says 61 people are infected.
Oh, yeah, I heard it's been in Africa. Yeah. But that's, if you consider, like Canada has a little over 100 people from province to province. And we have, 60 million people in our country, which not very many compared. So if you consider how many people are in Africa, 61 is not a huge amount. Again, if you've got if you're close to alcohol, wash your surfaces with alcohol. It kills it really easily. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think the virus stands up to heat very well. I have only heard that twice in 2 different places. But just when you go out, come home, wash your clothes with you if you can do that, because it does not stand up to washing. Okay, you're just going to have to be a little more proactive with your laundry.
CF says drink whiskey.
That would do it, and I suspect the more preventative you do, and my thoughts on the preventative are actually on my site, Wisdom Seekers. Again, I have Linda Johnson did a how to keep the viruses out of your house, how to keep the virus minimal, and what to do, and the food you can eat, the way you can clean the house. One of them is to open your windows and doors up for 20 minutes a day. The viruses, I understand, doesn't really like sunlight. Don't quote me on that one. But and she talked for 50 minutes nonstop about how to, and it was meant for the COVID-19, but it works for any virus. And one of the things she suggested, and which I have been doing, is we've got elderberry, and the elderberry, what it does, it clamps onto the virus so the virus cannot replicate itself, and it tastes really good. Thiamine or niacin, the same thing, or vitamin B6, is it? I'm not sure. They're all the same thing. And high doses of vitamin C. All these things will help you prevent it. But go listen to what Linda had to say. It is wonderful. She is so knowledgeable, and this is things you can do in your house for yourself. And one of them is to what? Sage the house. It's been proven that sage has an it kills stuff in the air and everything. It's not that this one is supposed to stay in the air. It goes between 6 to 10 feet and then it lands on a surface. So go wash everything. Go create vinegar will work. Vinegar's a great cleanser. You don't have to, and antibacterial, I don't think it's going to help a great deal because it's not antiviral, it's antibacterial. So, and I think she also gives a hand sanitizer that you can make yourself. It's just a lot of really cool things, and there's so much you can do to look at, be self-empowered.
Also, I was listening to a lady that I follow on YouTube. Her name is Jessica Chobot. she's into this stuff as well as a bunch of different stuff, but she was saying that Florida water in her cleaning solution for wood floors, as well as a few drops of orange essential oil, also helps clean your house. And I guess Florida water, which is a type of cologne, is also used for different types of spells, but it's good for cleansing.
Okay, so it's basically it's got alcohol in it.
Yeah, as it is a certain black salt.
Yeah.
To help with negativity from approaching and coming into a living space.
Which would be viruses.
Yeah.
Colloidal silver. Colloidal silver will react with the viruses quite nicely. What vitamin C, thiamine, or B6, etc., they all have preventative energy, and once you've got it, it can shorten the lifespan of the virus once you've got it, or probably make it less intense. We do have colloidal silver. I always have it on hand because it is a good, healthy way of dealing with things. What else? Is there anything else that I've missed?
No. CF just says, I don't drink. It was just a joke. My windows are always open all day. I sleep with them all open too.
Oh no,
we took it as a joke.
We took it as a joke.
We as well do not drink.
But it's not that we wouldn't have alcohol on hand. I mean, any kind of alcohol is going to work, except that some of them are sticky. But vinegar works really well. Bleach. But bleach is not as healthy for the environment. And we are going to survive this. We are going to come out in the end very powerful people. And I recommend that you listen to Jennifer Hoffman on my page. I also recommend that you listen to Linda, because she's amazing. I also recommend that you listen to any of the energy work that we've done, and that will be every Wednesdays and every other Thursday. And we have, because my energy workers are powerful people, and you really, if you trust yourself, you believe in yourself. One of the things, too, that you can do is just choose not to get sick. I have a friend who, for over 30 years, has not had any kind of flus or sicknesses because she just chose not to have it. And she's older than me, and she's still, well, as far as I know, she's still at work, but that might not be the case for a while, because unfortunately she works for a cruise line. She sells cruises. But I have another friend who's a nurse in Texas, and she hasn't been sick for eight years because, again, she chose not to. Just say, yep, not me, but you have to mean it. And that's the trick. You have to mean it. You can't go, yeah, not me, but. And there's so many ways to take control of your life. And one of them is how does it feel? When you hear something, does it feel right? Does it feel right? And it's from your heart. It's not from your head. Your head lies to you, because you're going to get caught up in the propaganda. You're going to get caught up in the empathic energy. So when you get caught up, you step back, look at it from a third person perspective. If that was me looking at that, what would I feel? And you will be surprised how distancing yourself from a situation changes your viewpoint. Okay? Is there anything Any questions there that I haven't?
Not really.
Okay.
That we're just Lily Doolittle says, or first off, Jeanette Lacarte says a peel cut in half of an onion on a plate in each room is very good. The onion absorbs all the bad bacteria in the room. Try this, but just put an onion peel cut in half next to your bed and sleep all night.
I've heard that actually.
I don't think I'll ever do that because onions smell gross.
Well, we don't, because we have dogs and they eat everything we eat. We actually don't have onions in the house.
No.
But I've heard that. And some of the old grandma stories are more right than we realize. So it's worth it. It's worth a try. It's worth catching up. And just remember to throw it out in the morning and start all over again, because you don't want to keep the old energy around.
No. Lily Dulo says virus infects more men than women, around 70%. It has no evidence that it touches only elders. In Italy, someone of 38 years old died. It touches less.
But that they probably have, like my daughter
existing health
is
issues.
Asthmatic. She would have problems.
It touches less the young people, but nothing is surely known.
No, but it's genetically. I was reading an article, and it was too much sense. The sequencing of the virus gene is too clean, and with it, if it had happened in nature, it would have happened in a different. It would have been spliced differently. So it has been. It's probably not known, but the truth is, people with immunity system problems are generally going to be the older people.
Yep. Unless there's a pre-existing issue like asthma with poor lungs, or cancer survivors, or people prone to getting pneumonia, etc., etc.
Yeah. So there's lots of ifs and ands or buts, but just choose not to get sick. Literally make a decision and go into the energies. Imagine the virus neutralized, and know that you want to move into a new, brighter world. Those things, hold those in your heart. And when you get overwhelmed by the empathic, just again, step back, ground, breathe, bring in clean energy. And that will make a huge difference. I do it all the time because like you, I'm an empath. And I occasionally, and I get a lot of people messaging me, asking me questions. And I get overwhelmed with the energy of the world. And it's a powerful person who isn't affected by this energy. Anyhow, go for it. And thank you, Lily. You are always a font of good news, good energy, and good information.
If I'm reading this correctly, she asks, do you think this virus will kill more than 15,000 people?
15,000?
Yeah.
The potential is worldwide. That's not very much. But there will be people who die from this. That's true. There's no way around it. It's how we react to it, and it's how we choose to allow it. But 15,000, that's very little. In 1918, when they had that influenza pandemic, 59,000 people died. Well, if you take the number of of people on the planet at that time compared to now. That was a huge number. But nowadays, that is not going to be a huge number worldwide. If you take into the fact that the influenza nowadays kills, well, this season has already killed over 10,000 people. It's just a slightly higher number than the for the COVID-19 that will pass away. And you know, if you look at it this way, what's the worst case scenario? You die. Best case scenario, you don't get anything. Middle of the ground scenario, you get sick. That's it in a nutshell. And a lot of this fear, a lot of this hype has been made. It's been made by, well, the government suggested we get food for 2 weeks, which on the surface is very, very logical, and I agree. But there's a lot of over the top reactions that are not healthy, and it's based on fear. It's not based on logic.
Jeanette Lockhart says that people in 1919 Spanish flu outbreak did that and they survived.
Yep.
My grandmother, when she was alive, was born in 1919.
The year after the Spanish.
No, 1919.
No, she was born. If the Spanish flu was 1918.
Okay.
She was born in 1919. Her family tells stories.
Yeah, but anyhow, what I was going to say is she survived every outbreak since her birth in 1919, over 100 years ago. Until she died at 97. At 97,
but she died of it. She was ready to leave too.
Someone, JD Lady asks, can you answer for me? And I know I should see a doctor, but I'm worried my kidney is failing. What do you think?
What I think is, well, I'll tell you what I think. I think you have a virus in your kidney, and that is probably what is happening. And this is what you do. Well, if you can go to a doctor. If you can't afford it, then this is what you do. Stop eating gluten. Stop eating any milk products, cheese. No eggs. I know most people love eggs. No eggs, no gluten, no sugar, except for fruit sugars. You can eat fruit sugars because you need sugars. And this will make it takes a while. My daughter has been on, not this daughter, another daughter has been on that diet because the viruses attack your immune system, and she's it's been about a month, and she's terribly sick of the diet, but her health is improving. Her headaches are gone down, the pain, her nausea is gone away, and things like that. And it is because it attacks the kidneys. It was the kidney, she said. Kidney. Yeah. It does attack the kidneys. So if you can't go to the doctor, do this diet. And it's not that hard, actually. If you eat a lot of greens and you want to eat a lot of green veggies and sweet potatoes. So basically, you follow the paleo diet and no cheese, no eggs, and be careful of the kind of meat you eat, because as much as you probably love bacon, and who doesn't love bacon sort of thing, it has a lot of chemicals and stuff in it. And we do love our bacon. Okay, so try that and see what happens. It takes a while, but you will also get sick from healing reaction, which is a very positive thing.
And again, and mostly I'm saying this to cover our own asses.
We are not
a
doctors.
replacement for medical.
Well, that's why I say if you can
professionals.
afford to go to
Yeah.
a doctor, go to a doctor.
But yeah, go try and see your doctor if you can, just to double check that everything is in working order. And that goes for everything, not just now, not just for kidney failures, not just if you are feeling horrible, go see your doctor so it's on record. And try a mix of health remedies, naturopathic remedies, as well as a balance of the chemical remedies that the doctors offer.
I highly recommend that. For instance, I use diatomaceous earth, and it is reputed to get rid of a lot of things.
We feed it.
No, it's not proven, but I know my health has improved.
Yeah, we feed it to our dogs for worms, for them to be dewormed instead of going to a vet and paying a couple $100.
No, it's not that much.
But still paying a X amount for deworming pills that they occasionally
yeah. So
enjoy.
Google natural ways of healing, and a lot of them you will find are already in your kitchen, like baking soda. Baking soda will change your pH balance. Viruses cannot handle being
and a positive pH balanced.
Yeah, so lemon juice. Drink lemon juice. I can't drink it. It just goes straight to my teeth. But apple cider vinegar will help. It's just not as good. But drink lemon juice in the morning. It will changes the pH balance, things like that. There's a lot of things you can do to prevent yourself from becoming ill. And baking soda might help you too with your kidneys. I would recommend that you talk to Linda Johnson, and she's not certified, so you can give her a donation over rather than a fee. But the lady is amazing. So anything else I've missed?
Let's see. Just a quick reminder for those who are joining us. We are not doing an interactive. We are just addressing some
fears
of the COVID. So for an interactive, we will be back Tuesday.
Probably Tuesday, yeah.
So if those questions can wait, please let them wait. The Eliz says, in Germany, where I currently live, experts are saying it is very, very like 2 out of 3 Germans will be infected by the virus at some point in the future.
And that's not a huge number, 2 out of 3, considering 81% is mild.
Mm.
It's the fear mongering that goes with these predictions that you want to be careful of. And there is a lot of fear mongering, and Germany has traditionally been a strong Illuminati area, so just be careful.
She adds, the concerns currently is to slow down the process. It may take 2 or 3 years for that to happen, so the healthcare system has time to handle the infected patients. If
Yeah,
they live that long.
and that makes sense. But would they have that pill that they're talking about coming out, and that's where we become powerful. We choose that it comes out. We choose that I'm not sure if it's a pill or whatever, but I just assume it's a pill because everything's a pill with medical. It, then yeah, and you know what? Not only that, but that virus is going to shift and change. And we've had how many fears? We survived SARS. We survived pig flu. Our swine flu. We survived avian flu.
We survived
Ebola.
The Zika flu.
Yeah, Zika. Yeah. So all these things that were supposed to decimate us, we made it. This time we're in a more powerful period, and people are, the energy shifting and changing so fast and so rapidly that people got caught up in the energy. So go for it. But listen when you hear information. Listen from the heart. Don't listen from the mind, and then you will know whether it's right or wrong. Breathe deep.
I mean, if you think about it, we survived the Mayan calendar. I think we're good.
Yeah, basically. I mean, we've come too far now for the world to end with a roar.
I mean, it would also be fitting because we are back in the Roaring 20s.
That's true.
so
we have to have a roar. And if for also, I read somewhere that every 20s for the last 2 20s, there has been an epidemic. So we're just following suit, and we've survived the 20s twice with the epidemic. So I think we're going to be fine. Just remember, smile at your neighbors. If you're going to do social distancing, do it so you keep in contact via computers, via phone. Don't isolate those people who need you most of all. And that's old ladies like me.
Let's see. And B. Erla says, I suppose the most important thing is to stay healthy and keep ourselves humane amidst the outbreak.
Exactly.
So don't hoard the toilet paper.
Yeah. I went to buy some toilet paper, and the one I buy costs like $13 at Costco, and I went on Amazon. It was $100. I go, oh my God.
Well,
I did not buy it.
In Australia, people selling on eBay, they are selling toilet paper for $1,000 Australian dollars. Like, it's just stupid.
Well, the thing is, save the TP for number 2. Make sure there's a shower close by. There's ways of, just use a little less of it. So I know it's in a year you're going to look back on this and you're going to be able to laugh and smile. And
JD Lady says, I've been drinking milk thistle, but yes, I will Google information on a better diet. I appreciate the advice from you both.
Oh, diet is you are what you eat. People don't realize that, but you are what you eat. And milk thistle, if I remember correctly, is a very beneficial food. Also, if you spicy foods, if you can handle it, are really good for helping. If I remember correctly,
Emily Aquine says, "LOL, not the toilet paper."
yeah, it's just amazing what people glom onto, right? But even already in China, the spiral up is always very fast, hits a climax. Spiral down is very quick as well. And already in China, things are the peak is over. And it started like December 21st was the first known case. So so it's not that long a period. And just remember, if you're going to social isolate, make sure you keep in contact with people and stay in contact with people who are socially at risk.
Again, just another reminder, this is not an interactive. We are just addressing fears. So hold your questions for Tuesday to Friday.
And we should be able to do Tuesday to Friday.
Yeah.
Without any problems. I don't think we have any
life happens, so just ring the bell for notifications. You know, the usual spiel.
Yep. And I appreciate it with you thumb us up. Does that make sense? It doesn't.
Give us a like.
Yeah, give us a like, thumbs up, because the more people who do that, the more people who are notified, and this is how I make a living. Well, today is not how I make a living, but this is how I make my living, and I kind of enjoy eating and having TP.
Yeah. We're at 62 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I'm going to...
just a real quick thing. This is not a how-to. This is not a spreading fake news. This is not a...
No, we're just trying to help people out deal with the fears.
And putting out what knowledge we have learned and who you can reach out to, or what you could possibly do to help improve the health within your own home, and not completely prevent, but take steps in prevention.
And the more you self-empower.
Yeah, but
that's the basic line, is self-empower yourself.
Yeah, and basically, if you're really super sick, go see a doctor.
Yes.
But
go see the doctor before you get super sick.
Well, I mean, if you're sick, go see a doctor regardless of...
And it doesn't have to be COVID-19 either.
That's what I'm saying, regardless.
Yeah. Doctors, they're there to be doctors.
Yeah. And...
but no, we're not trying to spend it. Rumors and stuff.
We are trying not to add more. We are not trying to add more fear.
We're trying to tell you
to
stay grounded.
Fear. Yeah.
And this too shall pass. And it shall pass.
Yep. And with that, we should call it.
Okay.
And thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much.
Giving us a like.
And I was actually quite surprised, considering this is not one of my interactives. But thank you very much, everybody. Namaste. Namasko.
And we'll see you on Tuesday.
And smile. The more you smile, the healthier you are.
Bye-bye.